Peter Gethin,
Yes.
1971 Monza Grand Prix winner.
And a BRM P160.
Which is still the closest, this is what we were
Closest
Googling,
finish.
just checking. It's still the closest ever race in Formula One.
And there's Jochen Mass on the right.
Yep.
I had lunch with him once at Goodwood. What an amazing person. Like, just having a chat. And you know what? Back in the day, and he was just brilliant. He just used to tell the stories, and such a nice guy. And I said to him, to break the ice, because I was sitting at the table, he said, is anyone sitting here? And his daughter sat down and we're chatting. I said, I remember when you came to Monza. I remember that day, yeah. You know what? I don't think I got paid for that day.
Amazing.
But he was really nice to talk to. It wasn't like, don't talk to me, I'm Jochen Mass. He would like...
Yeah, just one of the boys.
Really nice guy.
But
really
Peter,
nice.
we should talk about Peter.
So Peter started at... Well, there he is in the McLaren. But Peter started...
He was the replacement for Bruce McLaren when Bruce
He was there on the
McLaren
day,
was
wasn't
killed.
he? He was there on the day in the pit.
Oh, was he?
Apparently he was going to get in the car, if I
Really?
remember rightly. But Peter started life as a jockey, came from a jockey family.
I didn't know that.
And I think he's Richard Dunwoody's cousin or nephew.
Really?
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
relation between Richard Dunwoody and Peter somewhere along the line, if I
Right.
remember rightly. But I remember meeting Peter, being introduced to him by Tony Willis when he joined Ferrari in 90. He sort of turned up in 98. And I remember he invited me to come. He said, look, I'd like you to come to Donington. So I went out in a 355. It was a yellow one, manual, and he sat alongside me. And I do remember going for a job ages ago in 96 at Peter Gethin driving school at Goodwood. Peter didn't go out with me, someone else went out with me, so I turned up all looking prim and proper, which probably overdressed again just to do some assessment on track. But I was very erratic. You know, I went down the start finish. I was like trying to drive it like a touring car. And the guy said, if Peter saw you drive like that, he wouldn't be happy. And then I took a step back and I needed to smooth myself out. So then I remember going out with Peter, and I didn't know him that well. I just remember going, silky smooth. He said, I like your smoothness, but I'll never forget how erratic I was. Mike sacked me from the kart team.
Oh, right. For being erratic.
For being like creepy. I was like all over the place. I was really erratic. You know, really overdriving, and he sacked me for a race, and it made me reflect on my driving, and I came back a lot smoother.
Peter was a really good guy, and in fact, I've dug out some footage of him. This is him back in the day.
That was back in the day.
As a Formula One driver. I mean, you can look up his history. He's Formula 5000 champion, I think. Super quick guy. Only won one race in Formula One, but if you're going to win a race, then you may as well win the closest race in F1 history.
I think he got £10,000 prize money, and I think he spent that at Lake Como at that famous hotel, was it? Whatever they call it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I think that was... Well, he spent a lot of the winnings.
Good lad.
So,
well,
yeah.
I've got a bit of footage. It's only a minute long, but...
Yeah, Francois Sebert, yeah.
No commentary.
Peterson.
So Ronnie Peterson.
In the march.
So that's Peter Gethin going up the inside there.
That wasn't smooth, was it?
But then he's hung up back on the inside. Out of the parabolic. Look how many cars are together. And then they've got a bit of a slipstream, but there he is across the line. Top 5 within 0.61 of a second, and that's Peter.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I miss Peter because he was such a... There was no fakeness with Peter. He was just a gentleman and a character. And, you know, he opened the doors a lot for me. And when I was racing Caterhams, and Renault and Caterhams, the phone would go and he'd ring up, how are you getting on? You know what you got to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He'd ring me occasionally just to see how I was getting on. So he helped me a lot. Lovely guy, such a character. Donington Park.
Yeah.
So, I think Nick Gethin, Peter's son, who looks so much like Peter.
Really?
Yeah. Nick's an amazing guy. They came to our wedding. Him and Nicky. Lovely guy. But anyway, Peter. Wow. So Donington Park. I think it was 2001. 2000. I'm turning up with Keith Padmore. We're turning up and there's like a lot of motorcycles, like Dutch plates on German plates. We're like, what the fuck?
So this is a Club Fiorano day.
Club
that's
Fiorano
been booked.
Day.
Yeah.
That's been exclusively booked. But like there's KTMs, Ducatis, Hondas. Yeah. Few hundred turning up. Like they're not just on the tour. Yeah, it looks like they're on a bit of a track day. So Peter turns up in his black Golf with his Peter Stuyvesant cigarette. Dunn Hills. He smoked Dunn Hills. And he had the hat on. Turns up red face. Has anyone seen Nicky? I said, Peter, have you seen all the motorbikes? Yeah, he's like, yeah, there's a lot of them. I said, you think of what I'm thinking? Yeah. Nicky, have you got the paperwork? Where's Nicky? Nicky, have you got the paper? It shoots off. Cigarette. I think one went out, another one started. So the word got out. They'd double booked, and Austin's there. Like, I think they might have double booked. So
this is Austin Kinsella, radical champion as well, but
legend,
very quiet.
Very quiet.
Very soft,
anyway, Peter sort of said to me, "What do you think I should do?" I said, "I think." He said, "Well, if I send them home, look at them, they'll bloody kill me." So Peter, and he wasn't the tallest of people. He wasn't. He got up. Was it at the end of the pit lane or something?
It was on the pit wall.
Yeah. He did a mini bob at drivers. We're all here today. None of us want to go home. It's a problem which has happened. Donington has double booked. So how can we resolve this? We want to go on track. You've travelled a long way to go on track. The fairest way, why don't we share it, and we'll take you guys out for a passenger ride if anyone wants one in our challenge car.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, there's all the Club Fiorano members who, yes, they had a lot of wealth and, they're all there with their cars and in the back.
Yeah.
And there's all these bikers from Germany.
Yeah.
And
strapped
Holland,
themselves in various challenge cars and stuff.
Cars.
Yeah. But they did offer, you remember on the day they were offering to give passenger rides on their motorbikes.
Yeah, but no one took that.
Do you know what, lads? I think we'll leave that.
No, I'll never forget that day because the way Peter turned up and he sorted it. And it wasn't like, oh, we're not having that. Oh, we're not having that. I think Donington must have given everyone a free track day later in the year.
Yeah, or something like that.
How Peter managed to deal with the situation.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I will never forget that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was...
top geezer was
He was a top geezer.
He wrote a letter. I was going to go and coach. I was wanting to go and work in the States. It never actually happened in the end, but he wrote me a letter of endorsement, actually. Anthony's worked with us for a number of years. That was before I let my customer shunt the 360 into the pit wall.
He did one for me as well. Yeah, you're right. He did. I think I had that letter somewhere. But he did one.
Did he?
Yeah, he did one for me for sponsorship and that. So he was very good. He wrote a letter to say Keith's a very respectable driver, very safe pair of hands. Keith. So yeah, Peter would.
Keith, who's knocked over those cones?
So you could never lie to Peter. Well, you tried not to, but he'd find you out. So didn't want to be a grass, but Peter would go, Keith, come on, jump in the car. There was a cone down at the back straight going into Goodwood. So we pull over, hazards on. Peter would always do the controls on his drive.
You know, he didn't sleep that well, did he?
He didn't sleep that well.
Yeah.
He didn't sleep that well, but you know,
just get agitated about stuff.
I used to go out with him, and I remember he'd pull over, hazards on, get out. We'll do the cone, so he'd get out with me, and he was very good on safety. He always said, if you think someone is driving dangerously, I will always back you. So he did. He was brilliant. So I remember getting out the car to put this cone up. Peter's there, saying all clear. Who was that? I don't know. You do. Was it Eugene? Because Pete would have the hazards on, and then all of a sudden Eugene, and it's when who was that? You know, it's the way he said it, and you know,
I don't know, Peter.
I don't know. You do. And it's when he goes, like, falls in, was it Eugene? And gives me the wink, like, I like the fact you don't want to dob your mates in.
Funny geezer.
And
there you guys are, 20 years later, rockers getting the band back together.
Yeah.
And, lovely people.
Oh, there's Bobby Davro.
Yeah.
Hey up, mate. All right, mate.
I've got to get Ray in to talk about politics.
Well,
Ray, him and Howard to talk about politics.
He designed a crash helmet.
Yeah.
In 2000 on a napkin.
You know, he designed the TOCA logo, the original Touring Car Association logo. Yep, he did the original TOCA logo. So it was like in a square block, wasn't it? He did the original TOCA.
Phil Rainford, there was Shirley on the right. She used to do all the photos. They were Pirelli.
Still does do the photos.
Still does the photos.
Images.
They were very loyal to Peter, and Peter was loyal to them. Yeah. So they'd always come. That was the good days. Club Fiorano was amazing days.
Yeah, it was great. And I should add, pretty much the framework of that was transferable to, as I said, every supercar program from there.
Everyone,
you know,
when I hear McLaren, he was the founder.
Aston Martin.
He was...
Yeah, and it was pretty much the same. You'd have experiences, and then you'd have like a coaching thing, and that's how it was for the structure of that. Went on to those clubs that
Eddie Van Halen
still
invented finger tapping.
Yeah.
Peter Gethin invented
the
supercar,
the driver club.
He was the
premium, the supercar
I don't think he gets
drivers experience.
Enough. So Peter, God bless your soul, you were the founder, and a lot of people, you know, learnt. And also Ferrari.
Yeah.
So Peter was Club Fiorano.
Yeah.
And then Ferrari said, "Oh, we like that. We'll take that over."
Yeah, took it on board.
Fiorano Ferrari, and of course Peter was running to a budget through Stuart Robinson at Ferrari UK. What he did, but you think the membership was £3,000, which is the price of 2 slicks nowadays in GT racing or whatever. And you'd get your race suit, you'd get the Club Fiorano
leather
Del Boy fighter.
Yeah.
And you got the helmet, the suit.
That's right.
All the gubbins. Yeah.
That's an absolute bargain, isn't it?
It's a bargain.
So Peter gave you a bit of guidance for Caterham racing.
Yeah, Peter guided. Well, I'll tell you who gave me some guidance was Eugene's brother, Mike O'Brien.
Yeah.
So obviously...